Are we still talking about not using that heat press? How you guys doing? My name is Stan Banks from T-Shirt Side Hustle, and I help you start t-shirt businesses from home, wherever you at. And in this video, we're still having this conversation, and I think it's a great one, and we're going to jump into it right after the intro. Okay, let's jump right into it. But before we do, you guys know what I need you to do for me. I need you to like this video, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, because I'm going to be dropping reaction videos all the time. And yes, I mean all the time. Well, at least once a week. But this week, I got two for you guys for the simple fact that this is a conversation worth having, and I'm glad to be a part of it. So with no further ado, let's jump right back into the World and Vision guys talking about why they don't use a heat press for their brand. Let's get it.
I'm about to solve this heat press problem once and for all.
Once and for all. Let's see about this one.
Right, so all of y'all that's using a heat press in our last videos, we've been going back and forth, but this is the last video that you'll ever have to watch when it comes down to if you should be using a heat press or not to start your clothing brand.
So today I'm watching this in regular speed. Let me know what you guys think about the speeds. This is probably going to be a longer video just to get you guys where it is. I'm pretty sure we're going to have some great substance in it, but you guys let me know 1.5 versus regular speed. So let's keep rocking.
Let's get into this video. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Nicholas Clark, co-owner and designer of World and Vision, and we created this channel just to give you free game and to help you scale your clothing brand. All right, I'm looking for the next multi-million-dollar clothing brand. Is it going to be you? We started our brand literally with only $120, and we was able to scale to over 15 million in sales in the last 4 years. So we just coming to make these videos to help you scale your brand. And check this out, we just hit 60,000 subscribers. Let's go. Alright, so in the next video, we'll be announcing that giveaway winner. Alright, we're going to be giving somebody 100 free t-shirts. And don't worry, you still have a chance to enter on this video. So make sure you watch it all the way to the end. And make sure you comment and let us know, did you agree or did you disagree? Alright, and you'll be entered to win those free t-shirts.
For all y'all saying y'all want some free t-shirts, man, y'all better head to this video. It's linked in the description below and go participate.
But without further ado, let's get into this information. So I know a lot of y'all that's watching our videos, y'all watch other channels too, like Stan Blanks.
Yo, this the second person. My homegirl from B-Flex actually calls me Stan Blanks, and I kind of adopted it. This is the first time that somebody else outside of her has called me Stan Blanks. I don't mind the name because you know I am a cotton connoisseur of some sort now.
Or like hustle ninjas, and that's my guys, right? But they are the ones that teach you mostly about heat press, but we the guys that teach you mostly about scaling your brand through screen printing and just focusing on sales. All right, so in this video, I just want to break down a couple of things because I feel like we had a lot of confusion, and I just want to let y'all know it's cool, but I want y'all to get this perspective so y'all can understand what
keyword in this entire video. I'm pretty sure has got to be it right here, is perspective. That's what I want everybody to understand. For too long, this industry has been like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, man. It's people making money so many different ways. I thought I saw a fast-paced, high-volume heat press shop with 5-6 dual shuttle presses when I was out in California. Then I actually went to see Stalls and their heat press operation, and these things get massive. So it's not whether it's right or wrong. It's like using the right perspective based on what you want to do out there.
I'm trying to teach you so you can scale your brand to millions and millions in sales. So check this out. When we first got started, we was just like you. We didn't start with anything. We bought 12 t-shirts with $120. Each t-shirt was $10 a piece. Screen printed t-shirts at that. So I know a lot of the comments is saying like screen printing is expensive, heat press is more cheaper, and that's not the case.
So this first and foremost, starting out, like, listen, man, you can talk to 100 people and they're gonna give you 100 different scenarios that got them to where they are. All of the big shops kind of everybody that I've met that are doing like really, really big numbers, everybody's going to have their story where they started at, right? And these guys jumped out and they just said, we buying shirts, right? So they started and bought some shirts, $10 a piece. No big deal, right? You think about it, you just get into the flip. So on the other side of that, I wasn't even thinking about printing shirts. You know, I was trying to promote a photography business that led me into doing what it is that I'm doing. And I was doing the same thing, just flipping. They was buying my Stan Banks photography shirts. I had a dope logo, but I didn't even understand why people were actually buying the design because it just was for my photography business. I didn't really want to sell it, but people wanted to buy it. So I sold a dozen, 2 dozen, 4 dozen, 8 dozen. And I never understood why, when I wasn't even trying to create a clothing brand, that people wanted to rock my logo. And I mean, women were rocking this thing out to the club at night. It was crazy.
Case, I actually think that's false. All right, so if your screen printing is over $10, you have to try some different screen printers, right? You have to shop around. You do not have to go to the first person that give you that first price. What we did is we compare prices. We went to other screen printers and said, hey, they're going to give it to me for $7. They're going to give it to me for $8 until we met that perfect person. So you have to work on your negotiation skills and you have to shop around to different shops. It's screen printers all around you. I promise you, it's probably 5 to 10 different screen printers in your local area. So don't be quick to take the first price that somebody gives you. That's my first tip.
So let me say this. What I've learned about this industry is like there's different markets. Man, you can hit any price point that you want to hit, right? Especially when you're doing volume. You can get down to some very, very cheap printers. I don't think price is the only deciding factor, but you should definitely, depending on what it is you're trying to do and the quantities you're trying to hit, be able to get shirts for $10 or less, even at a dozen. I don't even think a printer charging $10 for like a one color with a neck label is even a bad price, right? But you can definitely get it down to 8, 7. You know, you provide your own shirts, maybe even down to like $5, $6, where now you ending up with a 9, 8, you know, like in the ranges that you want to be in when it comes to price. You definitely got to shop around, but it's all going to be in perspective of your location is going to make a big difference too. It gets a lot cheaper the further south you go to when it comes to printing, your neighborhood, your market. A lot of that stuff is going to vary based on what it is that you're trying to do. So undoubtedly, search around, find people that you enjoy working with.
My second tip is just order your shirts blank. Order the blank shirts and then bring them to the screen printer, and that's how you're going to be able to take some of that cost down. I promise you, if you're not getting screen printed t-shirts for $10 or less, y'all just going to have to reach out to us. Go ahead and get in our Facebook group, as a matter of fact, because we're going to help you get your t-shirts for less than that price.
All right, so providing the shirts to the printer, right? Undoubtedly, you're going to save money. I'm going to give you guys my scenario. I don't know if I gave it in the last video. I definitely gave it across the channel. I started out as a broker. I wasn't even printing shirts. I started out just because people asked me that I know, or could I print their shirts? I said yes. I knew where to get them printed at. So I started out basically going to the printer who printed my stuff, marking it up $1 and charging them whatever it was, $9. I was getting charged $8. They would charge, and I would go charge them $9, $1 a shirt. I used to make $24, maybe like 2 dozen shirts, $24 on the shirts. I would charge them $50 for artwork, so now I'm at $75, and then I would charge a $25 screen fee because my printer didn't charge me a screen fee. So I would be pocketing $100, and all I had to do was drop off the shirts, pick them up from her, drop them off to the customers because she was doing the ordering. Now, I asked her this question, hey, if I bring you 100 shirts, how much would you charge me? She like, $8. Well, what if I bring you 1,000 shirts? What would you charge me? $8. I don't care how many shirts you bring me. And I was like, okay. This was something in my mind, but I'm like, let me see if I can get that down. So then I learned about Bodekin Roads, which is now actually Alfred Broder, one of the wholesale distributors. And I was driving up there and I figured out, okay, cool. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to provide my shirts. How much will you charge me? She's like $3. Now, these shirts that I was getting was like $2.50, maybe $3 for a nice one at this time, right? So now I done added $2 to $2.50 back into my pocket by providing the shirt because she was charging me, what you learn now, she was charging me $5 on a $2.50 or a $3 shirt, right? So I got to add that profit without doing anything different, but except now I had to make sure that those shirts got delivered to her, whether that's me picking them up and dropping them off or delivering them directly to her through shipping. So by providing your own blank, you definitely eat the cost. Basically, you get to put some of that cost back into your pocket when you do that. Now, what I've learned from my printing mentors on the print side, if you're letting people provide shirts, you actually want to charge them a fee of like 50 cents to $1 per shirt. One, because you lose that markup, but two, what happens if you do have some errors when you're printing? You have no wiggle room in order to replace shirts. You start to eat immediately at your profit when you have any mistakes, when you let your customer provide the blanks. So you're definitely going to want to have a hand on feel on the other side of that. But let's keep going.
All right, so that was my first tip. But let me get into my next tip. All right, one good tip having a heat press is this. You can make your own samples. So for those of y'all out there that have the heat press, what you can do is you can actually produce your own sample, show it to the market, post it on Instagram, post it on Facebook, do those different things, have those pre-orders, and then you can go out to the screen printer and mass produce this. See, the thing that I want to really get y'all to understand is you do not have a manufacturing problem. You have a sales problem. And in order to solve this problem, you must focus on solving this problem. What Marlon always say that I love is that entrepreneurs solve problems for profit.
Sheesh. Solve problems for man, listen. If I ain't going through some problems, but on the other side of those problems are profit, right? You face these problems when you run into them, and you need to figure out how you can take yourself to that next level, which is where I'm focused at moving forward on YouTube. But when you face problems, that's where you're going to make money at. You solve that problem, whether that's you working in the business, whether that's you can't find help or employees. If you solve these problems, then you're able to grow your income.
Whenever you're having a problem, there's profit in that problem. So what you need to do as an entrepreneur is you need to figure it out. You need to figure it out. It's not about you producing the merchandise and saving 100% of the profit if you're not making any profit.
Oh my gosh. This is like golden, man. Like at the end of the day, your job is to get money out of people's pockets into your pocket, right? So it doesn't matter how good you can produce, what equipment you have and produce. If you can't go out and get sales, none of it matters because you ain't making no money. You could be the best printer in America. If you ain't selling it, or you don't have somebody on your team out selling it for you, you are not making money. So what good is it? And I think that's what he's trying to say is like, how you spend your time matters. And if you're spending your time producing things and not selling things and you don't have sales, you need to figure out how to get sales. Either you need to stop what you're doing and go get sales, or you need to bring somebody on board that can actually help you get sales, so that way you can keep the wheel turning on the press and keep the money coming in at the end of the day.
Right, so what you need to do is you need to get out and actually start to make sales. When we first invested our $120 into the 12 t-shirts, what it did was it forced us in the mind frame to start selling. So if you're at home and you have to make a shirt on each order, if you're printing on demand, you're not forced to sell. So you're not forced to go out there and make profit. So what that does is that puts you in a comfortable state. And the reason why I made that video from the start, I want you to get uncomfortable, because what uncomfortable do is it creates growth. It gets you to the next level.
Man, listen, two parts here. I like the press on demand method. Yes, the samples that you can make, but you can have your money better tied up. You can have a select inventory of blanks, and you can put multiple designs as their order. But at the end of the day, you still need to be, in order to press on demand, because you got your heat press, which is my term. I coined it a couple months back, something like that. But if you're pressing on demand, you have to have sales, because there's no demand. There's no pressing on demand without the demand. So you still, at the end of the day, you got to get out there and get sales. And then let me back it up just a little bit.
Is that put you in a comfortable state. And the reason why I made that video from the start, I want you to get uncomfortable.
You got to get uncomfortable. Like walking away even from like what happened to me recently and opting out of taking that money, it's a very, very uncomfortable state. But nothing, when you are comfortable, and I was told in this process, you got comfortable. And I'm like, wait, I'm not comfortable. I'm trying to maneuver. But at the end of the day, when you comfortable, like, it's cool to sit behind a computer and do nothing. It's cool, as long as you get a little bit done, it's okay. But at the end of the day, if you want to have some growth, if you want to you know, being pursuing of the things that you want to get out of this entire process while you're doing this or watching this video or that video or any video in general or buying this equipment, you have to get uncomfortable. If you're not a salesperson, you need to get up and go try to get sales, or you need to bring somebody on at the end of the day. But you got to get uncomfortable. You got to do something about your situation in order to make these changes. And I agree wholeheartedly.
Because what uncomfortable do is it creates growth. It gets you to the next level. If you're comfortable and you're not where you want to be, that's not good. I wanted to make everybody that had a heat press, I wanted to make them uncomfortable. Because what that's going to do is that's going to make you start to think. That's going to start to make you wonder, man, it isn't me producing the merchandise. It's me not making enough sales. So how can I go out there and make sales? So it's going to be a percentage of y'all that's going to watch these videos and that's going to go from $0 to $500 a month, to $1,000 a month, to $2,000 a month, to $3,000 a month. And you're going to keep on going from there, because it's not about you making it and saving money. It's about you saving time and making a maximum amount of
Bruh. I don't know how long I've been yelling at you guys across my channel. Like, bro, forget the money. It's about the time. It's about how you spend your time and how you want to spend your time. You know what I mean? At the beginning, yeah, you might have to be feet down, head down, and spending all your time in production. You guys used to see me 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm not trying to do that. There's no retirement in that. If you don't learn how to scale and put systems and processes and people in place, you can't retire. I literally sat down with my mentor the other day, maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, bro, we got to clean this up. Like, you know, you taught me pretty much everything you know, and now I know better. So we need to come together. We need to figure this out, but we ain't never going to be able to retire. And I'm not trying to hustle like I was hustling before. It's not that I'm not even trying to hustle. I'm trying to make it look different, because now I know what it looks like to have a $1.5 or $7.5 million print shop, when all I knew was what he showed me was, hey man, I was making a good living doing this and taking care of the fam, right? And you can do that to whatever degree, but if you're the only person in the business, you cannot grow the business like that, because you're going to wear yourself out. And when I did have brands, I would do them until I wore myself out printing, and I would disappear for 3, 4, 5 months, come back, drop something, and it would do well. And then I would disappear because I was just burnt out from actually living in the production phase of what it is that I'm doing. So I'm definitely winning when it's coming to scaling and stepping away from the production, because you got to build it. The only way to do that is to partner up with a production shop, or go to manufacturing, or in other cases to build it in your own shop, in your own place, with your own employees, with your family, your friends, like my man LaRussell doing out of the crib, right? Those are the two possibilities, and that's what I'm working on here. I do not want to work in my business. I don't want to own my own job. I want to have something that is provided for me and my family and my employees, 3 to 5 people. But ultimately, I don't want to have my head down the entire time. Now, does that mean I'm not going to print? Absolutely not. I don't got no problem getting my hands dirty, but that's not what I want to be doing all of the time.
money with that time that you save.
Alright, I know Nick giving y'all a lot of game, and it wouldn't be right if I didn't comment on this video. But for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Marlon Wise, co-owner and CEO of World and Vision. And in the last video, I told you guys that we used to utilize a heat press to make our hats. But just updating you on that story, the reason why we purchased the heat press, because we thought it would be easier. We thought we'd be able to actually save time by producing the products in-house ourselves. So we went out, we bought the heat press, we trained the team, we started to mess up, of course, and then we actually got it going. So we got that system going, but what we realized was that along the way of getting that whole heat press system going to create the hats, we actually lost focus on selling the hats.
Definitely could lose focus.
Quickly we realized that wasn't what we wanted to do. We wasn't in business to become a producer. We was in a business to sell our brand and put our brand out there.
So listen, man, I don't know how many times I gotta tell y'all, printing ain't for everybody. Like, okay, yeah, getting a heat press and doing a few shirts, custom shirts here and there, all that stuff. Getting into like major production is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when I was working with my partner, my mentor, like so many printers came and went, right? And it was just me that I didn't mind. So we worked together. Like, I would print his stuff, I would print my stuff, and go, like, it would just go. But when you're tied up in production, you lose focus of everything else. You just can't do it all. You just can't. It's just no way possible.
All right, and you're not watching this video right now because you want to be a screen print shop.
You're not watching this video because you want to be a screen print shop. we have to take information that applies to us and understand it and use it based on what it is that you're trying to get out of this. That's the most important lesson, I think, in this conversation is, period. They're not wrong. I'm not wrong. Rich isn't wrong. Your input isn't wrong. But the people watching this have to take this with a grain of salt in the sense of you got to pick up what it is that you're trying to get out of it. They got gems. Rich got gems. I got gems. Other people out here got gems. And it's going to vary the level of success based on what that person does, what they want to get out of it, and how they want to live their life, right? But if you want to live the life, you got to be willing to put the work in that these people put in, bro. When they was watching on God is Dope 4 years ago, you could tell them dudes was hungry at that given moment, right? When you watch me printing live, I was hungry at that given moment. And then how you start to maneuver and what you end up doing as you grow and grow and grow, you got to figure that out.
Or you want to, make product. You watching this video right now because you want to grow your brand. You want people to be wearing your product around the world. So the main thing that you need to be focusing on is putting that product on those people, right? You cannot lose focus on what you actually need to be doing to get your brand in front of people, right? Last but not least, I was just doing some research. So I wanted to see, because a lot of people say it's expensive to actually get into going to a local screen print shop. We literally started off with 12 shirts and $120. So our screen printer literally charged us $10 per shirt, and he bought the shirts for us and screen printed them. So, and I went online to see how much does a heat press cost. And I seen that the average price for a heat press was between $150 to $250. And that's not including the shirts. That's not including the heat transfers. That's not including the time that you're gonna spend.
The other video I just dropped talked about this from my man, about like, hey, you can sell shirts at $25 and make $36,000 a year or something like that, right? With a $60 investment, but none of the cost of that stuff went into it, right? He didn't calculate what the true profit is on that entire piece. So, once you add all this stuff up, you got to figure out where you're gonna fall at.
If you don't know what you're doing, to actually learn how to do it. That's not counting the mistakes that you're going to make. So what we realize is that leave it to the professionals and focus on what you can actually do best. That may be getting out there and doing those pop-up shops and selling your brand. That may be creating content. Figure out the ways that you can continue to make sales in your brand and allow the professionals to produce. All right, let's go ahead and check back in.
If you want to have a brand out there, if you live and die by the fact that you're going to build a successful brand, and you go out and you do that every single day, you focus on sales, that's the recipe for success. That is the recipe, because you don't have a plan B. So many of us got out here to actually start brands or to start printing for their band and make merch that lost their way because they no longer were focused on making that merch for their band or starting that clothing brand, because so many inquiries came to them about printing other people's stuff. It is a story of the entire industry. That's kind of like one of the commonalities for most people who have print shops. I was printing for a band. In my case, I was printing for my photography business, and people started to ask me, could I make theirs, right? I wanted to learn how to make shirts so that I can promote my photography business, not to sell them to people. And the funny story is, my first printer actually played me because he printed my shirts on round neck, and I wanted V-necks, and he messed up. And he's like, well, it's a $5 difference. I said, bro, you can't tell me that you're going to charge me $5 more in order to print a V-neck shirt. I was born, I ain't that old, but I wasn't born yesterday. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna piss on me and tell me it's raining. Just plain out. So that's what actually led me to go find how I could supply my own shirts. And it took me some time, but then I also found another printer, which was the lady I referred to earlier.
So in order to become a 7-figure entrepreneur, you have to think on a 7-figure level. And one question that I seen a lot, or one comment that I seen a lot was, why pay someone else when I can do it myself? All right, I want to answer this with a 7-figure answer. If Jeff Bezos,
hey, he flexing a little bit,
said, you know what? Instead of giving all of these people jobs, I'm just going to go out and ship all of the orders myself. Amazon wouldn't be Amazon. My goal isn't to help you scale to become the next 5-figure brand. My goal is to help you scale to become the the next 7-figure or the next 8-figure brand. So whenever you think to yourself, why should I pay somebody when I could do it myself? I want you to think about this. Millionaires, billionaires, high-level entrepreneurs and business owners do not work in their business. They work on their business. So
Facts.
You need time to work on your business. You need time to be the entrepreneur. So it's going to be a time at the beginning where you do need to work inside to learn the ropes, to learn the systems. But in order to build, you have to take yourself out of the equation and you have to start to work on the business. And not
Man, listen, let me tell y'all this, man, and I'm going to close at this point right now. I'm pretty sure it's close to the end. Again, everything will be linked up down in the description below, man. At the end of the day, you got to figure out where you want to fit in your business. Point blank, period. Like I said earlier, you know, he flexing a little bit, which he got the right to. For me, what I was able to do in t-shirts was take care of myself and my family, make money, make enough money, and then I would disappear. And then when I didn't have no money, I would come back and print. I was kind of like halfway in, halfway out for a good period of this entire thing, right? Because without systems and processes, I would just work myself over and over until I got tired, and then I would take a little break, and then I would come back and I would print over and over and over and over again. Now, what I've seen in these bigger shops that I've been into over the last year, for you guys who want to have print shops or want to grow your custom business and get into other things and decorate for other people, you guys are the plug. And by being the plug, you need systems and processes in place if you want to take in a bunch of orders and be able to scale as a print shop. Right? You want to work with brands like his. You want to connect with people so that they can go out and do the selling while you do the production. We actually all need each other. But everybody looks at these pieces of content from one perspective instead of looking at it from multiple perspectives based on where you want to go. Right? If people are giving you advice without asking you questions about, hey, well, what is it that you're trying to get out of it? Right? I might not be the right teacher for you. I might have to send you to Rich. I might have to send you to Charles. I might have to send you to something else, because there's a million different business models that you can be successful on. What they're talking about is how to scale a brand. If you're going to live and die by the brand, you need to be getting sales over everything else. So you need to focus on sales if you want to have a brand. Shout out to them for remaking this video. We can keep the conversation going all day. I got some differences in opinions and different things as well. I'm going to drop them in future videos. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Let me know down in the comments. Send me any links to my email, t-shirtsalso@gmail.com, that you want me to react to. Ain't nobody safe, rather. This been your boy Stan Banks, and I stand on it. Peace.
The T-Shirt Side Hustle team would like to give a huge shout out to its contributing members.